put any limitation on what that looks like. Again, I know he's had a tremendous amount of success with multiple different quarterbacks. I know what my skill set brings to the game. I know what I'm capable of, and I think that, again, like I said, I'm ready to come in and compete, and I can't wait to be under his tutelage and, like I said, get to go to war with not only Jets, but him too.
Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the main NFL news.
NFC Championship game, I think we're still dealing with Kyler Murray, so I don't know if he's the guy that's going to put you over the top to get you to the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't rule out making it that far. Kevin O'Connell has done an extraordinary job since he's been the head coach of the Vikings. He's made it work with several different quarterbacks. McCarthy's not working, which is why they've made this pivot. Defensively, they can get after you. The division's tough, but I think there's reason to see some flaws in the other opponents. What I like the most about the move with Murray is the fact that prior to his stint in Arizona, it had been nothing but success for him in his sports career. All right, he was 42-0 at Allen High in Texas. He was the two-time Mr. Texas football player. That had never happened before. Gatorade Player of the Year. He goes on to win a Heisman Trophy. He's drafted 9th overall by the Oakland A's. Keep that in mind. Major League Baseball wanted him too, and then number 1 overall in football. Nothing but success until the Cardinals. That was a failure. That's the reckoning moment where maybe you look in the mirror and you think, all right, it's time to reboot and get back to all the winning and success we had, and I think that's why Minnesota's going to end up getting the best version of them.
Joe, I see your NFC Championship game, and I'm going to raise you the Super Bowl, and let me tell you why.
Okay, now we're being ridiculous.
Hey, Shay, you may want to take some copious notes here.
Oh, please, I will.
Okay, all right, here we go. They won 9 games last year with absolute horrendous quarterback play. Max Brosmer, Carson Wentz, and J.J. McCarthy had more interceptions than touchdowns. If they could keep Jonathan Grenard, get a running back, this is a team that is anybody. And to Joe's point, no one's ever going to question Kyler Murray's ability. In his career, he has 121 touchdowns. I went back last night, watched his film from last year. He can make all the throws with a firm pocket. He can obviously make plays with his legs outside the pocket. So to me, this is a extremely high ceiling team. If Kyler Murray plays even 80-85% of his ability, because again, this was a team that won 9 games really with very below average quarterback play. So I'm really excited to see the combination of the two. We talked about this earlier. When you have no franchise tag on a 1-year deal, dealt with adversity for the first time, I don't think there's going to be a player in the NFL at 29 years old who doesn't see a better future for himself than Kyler Murray. Whatever he's got, we're going to see this year.
I don't know this. Has Kyler Murray ever even won a playoff game? I don't think he has. Okay. I don't think he has.
But I don't know if Johnny Unitas would have won one.
Johnny Unitas?
In the last couple of years in Arizona.
They had that one where they made it to the first round under Kingsbury against the Rams, but they got rocked by McVay. They were woefully underprepared in that game. I think that was the only time he's been.
Correct. He has never won a playoff game. You're sending him to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
And you even are bad too, the NFC champion?
Yeah, Joe.
We're sending Minnesota. You have to remember, we get everything that comes with Minnesota. Better coaching than he had in Arizona, a better defense than he had in Arizona, a division that's going to be as tough as he would have faced in Arizona going against the NFC West.
And there's a couple of tweaks here. Harrison Smith's going to retire. Running back's a question mark. Jonathan Grenard's a question mark. But you have Brian Flores, who's essentially the head coach of the defense, with Kevin O'Connell. And you look at the upside of what he could do if this all comes together. You can't rule out them getting to the Super Bowl.
So you got to be careful. You're talking to a Chicago Bears.
Exactly.
you got to be careful
Why are you so
about
worked
that.
up?
Yeah, listen. I will say this. I think NFC Championship game is where I kind of see this Minnesota Vikings team for a lot of the reasons that you guys have laid out. Listen, I think people need to understand. Kyler Murray was a former number 1 overall pick. Dude is immensely talented. Obviously, we know the injuries kind of derailed him last year, but there are moments, in past seasons where Kyler Murray looked like a MVP caliber type of quarterback. Now you put Kyler Murray, the player, the dual threat Kyler Murray, into that infrastructure in Minnesota with a defense that was top 7 last year. Okay, they went 9-8. They got weapons on offense, and then obviously the coaching staff in Minnesota. If Kyler Murray can stay healthy and put it all together, that team can absolutely get to the NFC Championship game. Now, I think the Los Angeles Rams are the team to beat in the NFC. I think that the Rams, with the moves that they've made and the things they're going to continue to add, they're the team to beat in the NFC. But there's no reason why, in my opinion, the Minnesota Vikings can't come out of the NFC North and be a team that contends in that conference.
Okay. For one, I'm just taking some notes here on this. This is
Good,
great.
good.
This is great.
Okay. It's all documented.
You should have those notes. Should be like
I can't believe you're all
third.
on this. I am not taking away from the fact that I think Kyler Murray is immensely talented and he is an upgrade at quarterback. First of all, is this a competition or is this just a known thing he's going to be the starter next year?
Yeah, we talked earlier, there could be a transfer from like J.J. McCarthy going from Minnesota down to Southern California, get reunited with Jim Harbaugh. So, if I'm Minnesota, I wouldn't give up on him because he's only started 10 games, he's 23. But if they're like looking for a clean break here, the Chargers need a backup quarterback. And if you're J.J. McCarthy, why not go with the guy that you want a title with?
Minnesota, not enough is made about how humiliating last year was for them. Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl. You had him in-house. He's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback if you put the right team around him. They let him go for a guy they drafted who was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Only 10 games, fair. Same thing happened with Darnold. He struggled early and then
They let Daniel Jones go.
But that was, you let Daniel Jones go. That was humiliating for them. There is no, all right, let's be patient, let's try to figure it out. They got to snap to it. They fired their general manager in the offseason as well.
You act like it's so easy. They got to snap to it. I mean, this is a very, very competitive division that he's walking into with a completely new playbook. Now, this might be good for Kyler Murray, considering some of the narratives that have followed him throughout his career. It's a fresh start. But when you guys talk about the NFC Championship game, these are the teams we were talking about at the end. Basically, the entire NFC North, okay? So, I'm sorry, the NFC West. Rams, Seahawks, Niners, and then the Bears. Do you think the Vikings are just going to slot themselves in there?
I got a question for you. Shay, isn't it possible that the Bears are a better team in 2026 and have a worse record?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Don't you think there's a chance that they may actually be a better team but have a worse record, just given all their improbable wins?
Sure, maybe. But what are you trying to tell me there?
That's why, to me, that's one of the factors that the Vikings may surpass the Bears. And then you look at teams like Detroit and Green Bay, like they'll be very competitive with those teams as well. Like all those teams are good. All I'm saying is, and going back to Joe's point, I think we underestimate how bad the quarterback play was in Minnesota. If Kyler Murray is just okay, it's going to be an improvement.
Question also was ceiling. If you ask us what's actually going to happen, he's probably not saying Super Bowl. I'm not saying NFC Championship game. Their win total in Vegas is just 8.5. They're priced as the worst team in the division.
After acquiring
this trade did almost nothing. They were 60-1 to win the Super Bowl. It moved to 55-1. He's viewed as maybe 2.5 points better on the point spread than McCarthy. We're speaking very highly of the deal, Mike specifically because of financially. Like, how can you not love the idea of getting a guy like this for $1 million? But Vegas has barely budged on this. They do not see it as that impactful relative to what Minnesota already had. And
another thing, like Kyler Murray hasn't won a playoff game. Kevin O'Connell hasn't won a playoff game since he's been the head coach of the Vikings. Like, this is not like muscle memory, to use a phrase you use a lot for this Minnesota Vikings team. I just think there might be a little bit of growing pains here. I know he has a fantastic cast around him. The Vikings beat the Bears week 1. Like, it's not like they were blown out every week by the NFC North, So I just, to crown them Super Bowl and the NFC Championship just seems a little bit aggressive.
Well, the question is like, what do we think like their ceiling is? I think, again, with their team and their infrastructure, plug in Kyler Murray, this is a team that could, in my opinion, could absolutely reach the NFC Championship game.
Kyler Murray's move to the Minnesota Vikings instantly changes the conversation around the team. After a season filled with inconsistent quarterback play, Minnesota clearly decided it needed a higher ceiling at the bird position. Murray brings athleticism, arm talent, and the ability to create plays outside the pocket, traits that can dramatically raise the potential of an offense when they are paired with the right system. What makes this situation particularly interesting is the environment he's entering. Head coach Kevin O'Connell has already shown he can build productive offenses with different quarterbacks, and the Vikings still have one of the most explosive weapons in the league with Justin Jefferson. If Murray stays healthy and adapts quickly to the system, this offense could become far more dynamic than it was last season. However, some of the predictions being thrown around, like Super Bowl or even NFC Championship expectations, feel a bit premature. Murray is undeniably talented, but his career with the Arizona Cardinals was inconsistent, and he still hasn't proven he can lead a deep playoff run in the National Football League. Talent alone doesn't guarantee success, especially in a competitive conference. Ultimately, this move feels less like a guaranteed breakthrough and more like a high upset gamble. If Murray rediscovers the MVP level flashes he showed earlier in his career, the Vikings could become a serious contender. But until he proves he can stay healthy and deliver consistent winning football, the hype should probably be tempered with a bit of caution.